Hey, what's up YouTube? So right now I wanted to start like a new segment on my channel on like how to take apart the 06 to 11 Civic Si. So this is a FG2 coupe that I have right here. I'm gonna be taking this motor out. I know some people are curious on how to take them out, so I'm gonna kind of do a step-by-step. I know some stuff is missing, but it's just the radiator and like the condenser, so it's nothing like major. I basically really just wanted to show you how to just drop the engine at home. So if you don't have a cherry picker, that's fine. I'm gonna show you how to do it without one. I'm at my other house, so I don't have one. I just have my jack, but it's possible. It's basically what we're gonna do is just drop it from the bottom. So we're gonna drop the subframe. I'm gonna show you how to make sure you disconnect the rack and pinion the right way so you don't mess up your clock spring and everything. So to get started, I guess the best thing to do would be like just to start with your AC. This one's kind of already taken apart already. So AC system, and then you want to remove this battery tray. Remove your ground right here, and then I like to start with like the shift linkage and hoses and everything. So I'm gonna start with little stuff, and then we'll go step by step of what bolts and everything, and then get to suspension and everything else. So I'm gonna start taking off those things, and then we'll continue into the next part. Alright, so first thing I like to start off with is the shift linkage. It's 3 12 bolts, 1, 2, and 3, and then you have the cotter pin right there, and then one right there. I actually went and took the ECU apart already, so it's 3 10 bolts, 1 on this side and 2 on the other. And then to actually get this up, you have to push this clip down, which is down this way, and then this clip will slide up like that, and that's how you take those off. So I'll take those clips off, and then to make sure the ECU is disconnected from the harness and everything, it's disconnect. You pull this tab up and you kind of wiggle it up, and those tabs come up, so like that. This one's kind of broken already, so I don't know how they did that one. And that one's kind of broken on there, so I'll probably use a flathead or whatever, but got that off. Alright, so got my shift linkage off, the 312s, the 2 cotter pins. Took my heater hoses off. The easiest way to get those off is kind of like get some WD-40 inside of it and kind of work it off with the pliers. I got the 3 hoses off my fuel, the smog, and the brake booster line. So now, in order to finish taking apart everything, you gotta get inside your fuse box. And there's 2 8s. These right here, you want to take off. That way you can completely take the whole harness off when you take the engine out. Next, I'll be doing this motor mount, and then there's a mount on the actual oil pan. I'll actually show you when I get under there, but so far right now we're just going to do this mount. Got the slave cylinder off as well, and we're going to take off basically the wiring right here, and then that'll basically take us to taking the wheels off and getting to the suspension and the other mount. So I'm gonna take off that mount, get the wiring harness ready, and start jacking the car up. Alright, so got my 2 8mm out, so my wiring harness is free. And I also took my bolt out. That's a 17mm. You need something to hold it on the other side, so have like a wrench or something. So next, there's a ground right here. Is a 10mm. You gotta take that off to take out the engine. Also, this is where you don't have to take it out this way, but I like to start taking off my accessories, especially if I'm just gonna do a swap anyway. So I mean, it's easier when you lift the motor up that you don't have like the AC, the alternator, and the pulley in the way. So I mean, It's not necessary, like I said, but I like to do it just to make it more simpler. So basically you got 12 right here, and then a 12 right there. These are all 12s actually. So, and then you got 3 12s on the alternator, and then you got 4 12s on the AC pump. So I'm gonna take the ground off, start taking these accessories off, and we should be getting to the next mount and half shaft. Alright, so we got all our accessories taken apart. Put those in the trunk so they don't get ruined. This is the actual pulley. I know a lot of people want to know what the SI pulley looks like and what they need for K-swaps. So this is it. I have like 2 left extra, so I can ship them out like 80 bucks. Just let me know. But that is if you don't want to run power steering and if you don't want an aftermarket, this is the best deal. So I mean, you get the bracket, pulley, and bolts. It'll bolt right up to your housing and everything, to your water pump housing. So, or actually that's not your water pump, that's your tensioner. The tensioner bolts to the water pump housing, and then that attaches to that. So some people are thinking that that's the idler pulley. No, that's the actual tensioner pulley. This is the idler pulley you need for the SI. So now we can get down to our suspension. As you can see, someone actually already took this axle out, so it's just a 36mm nut, and basically pull that out. But this is the mount from the back end that's on the oil pan, sorry, and that's a 19mm bolt. And then one thing I kind of want to let you know before we start getting into it, those wires right here, you have to disconnect those first before you drop the subframe. That's crucial because you will have some wiring problems if you don't do that. So just make sure you unclip those. Now as we get to the suspension, there's 3 17mm bolts I'm going to take off instead of taking this one, because I don't want to ruin the ball joint, especially if you're going to be putting it back together. I mean, I'm just taking this car apart, so it doesn't matter, but I just like to take it off this way because it's just 3 bolts. You don't have to mess up anything by just taking those off. So I'm going to take those 3 off, the mount off the oil pan, and then we have, I believe that's a 17mm, 4 of those we have to drop, and then we have 1 bolt inside of the car, which is a 10mm. Right in here, so you got to take that off. Also make sure this is locked. You want to make sure that's locked because there's a clock spring in there, and some people have actually broken their clock springs by spinning the wheel while the rack and pinion is off. So just a fair warning, make sure you do that because that will be a problem. And you might want to mark, at least with a marker, where your rack and pinion was, so if you do happen to turn your spindles or anything, it'll be lined right back up where it was. So I'm gonna go ahead and get going to that. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock out the spindles, take that off so I can get ready to drop the subframe. So basically just those 3 bolts right there. I'm gonna do it on both sides, and basically next I'll show you how to drop the subframe. Alright, so we're on the other side of the spindle. I just wanted to show you that that's the axle nut. I like to put some WD-40 on there because these things are usually pretty hard to do. They're usually kind of pinched in, so you want to make sure you use a flathead to kind of make sure it's out of that groove. It's right here now because I broke it with a breaker bar. So that's the breaker bar I use. It comes in handy. I got it from Harbor Freight. I've been using it for years, no problems or issues. So got that, and then like I said, it's just the 3 bottom bolts at the bottom. On the other side it was 117 and 2 19s, but I'm guessing because they had different ball joints, so maybe they swapped that out. This is, like I said, the 36mm right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that out and then get ready to do the wires on the other side. And then also for the subframe, there's 2 14s on each side. So make sure before the drop the subframe as well, you have to take those off. So there's 4 at the bottom. There's 1 in the front, 1 in the back on each side. And then you got a 14, this one, on each side. And then also you want to disconnect your tie rods from the spindle, so when it all drops, it just all drops as one with the rack and pinion. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock this spindle out, and then I'll show you how to drop the subframe. Alright, now that I got to the subframe, and it's basically the 2 back bolts are done, it gives you a little bit more access to these wires to disconnect. So there's 4 plugs. I'm gonna disconnect the 4 plugs right there. Let me show you inside as well. The 10 bolt you have to take out in order to ensure that you drop the rack and pinion. It's just a 10 bolt right there. Comes through from behind this cover right here. So disconnect those bolts. Also, earlier in the video I said this was a 14. It's actually a 17. So 2 17s on both sides. Also, when this is the tie rod is a 19. Once you take the cotter pin and take the bolt out, you just want to hammer it on the side right here to basically vibrate it loose. So I'm gonna go ahead and take those plugs off and drop this rack and pinion. Alright, so now I got the subframe pulled out. So basically what you need to do to take the subframe out, first we'll start off with a 10mm bolt inside on the steering wheel. You got the 3 17s that were on the spindle, and they are 17s. This one had a brand new ball joint, so there were 2 19s on this side and then 1 17. Take those apart. You got a 17 on each side on the sides. You got a 19 on the motor mount and a 17mm on the front mount. The exhaust downpipe will have a hanger on there, so you're gonna have to take that off. And that's basically it. I mean, oh yeah, your tie rods, 19 with the cotter pin. So yeah, that's it. That's basically it for the subframe on that. All right, the motor is dropped. On this side, you just got to take off this 19mm. This side, I took out like 4 17s just to make sure that this bracket was completely off when dropping, because if you don't, it's real hard to take off. So now I'm just gonna jack the car up and then I'll pull it out. All right, so the motor is out. Kind of tired from dragging it out in the dirt. It's a little harder than concrete because the sand builds up. But in case you didn't know how to take it out, this is what I did. Just use a jack with a tire. I don't really care about that tire, so nothing wrong with using it. It's not like it's like a wheel set or anything, but yeah, this is it. Motor is out. Some people probably don't know what LSD is, so kind of explain. If you can see, well, you probably can't see because of the half shaft, but there's usually a bar, so at least you can know if there's a bar in there that's not LSD. The K20Z3s, they come with the stock LSD from the Type R, so they're really good. They're the only K-series transmissions as far as like RSX and SI that comes LSD. This and Type R's, so only the SIs come with LSD in America. As far as the rest of the car, if there's anything you guys need, or mounts, shift cables, or AC lines, anything you see on the car, like I said, this is the FG2. Show you the interior. Like I said, I will be doing some more uploads on how to take apart the SI FG2. So this is just the first video. Just wanted to get the motor out of the way. I also have EP3 parts. If anybody needs any EP3 parts, it's not much left, but just little parts. I got like a fender, passenger side, stock headers. I have believe, so I got a subframe, door, cluster, seats, just little stuff that if anybody sees they need anything, fans, I can ship as well. But that'll basically be the conclusion of this video. If you haven't subscribed, ring the bell, like, comment, share, and let me know what you guys think. If there's anything you guys want in particular for me to take apart or see, just let me know. If there's any parts, just let me know. I'll see you guys later.